When we're about to face a trial or a tribulation, it might be financial, it might be a child getting sick, it might be not getting married. What do we tell ourselves? Our thoughts have immense power. And depending on what we think, depending on what stories we tell ourselves, often dictates or predicts the outcome of our lives. So if often I think to myself, I'm ugly, I'm useless, I'm no good, then the actions that I take will be reflected on those beliefs that I have. And now those beliefs come from all kinds of places. Sometimes we picked them up from our parents when we were very young and they told us certain negative messages. Sometimes as we get older, we have experiences and then we interpret the meaning of that experience to be something negative. Other times it's society or the media, and we start to pick up social messages, and then we start to tell ourselves something about that. Wherever it might come from, the purpose of today's video is for you to recognize that your thoughts have power and to start to think every single day, what thoughts do I have and how do they serve me? And if you can slow down and start to do that, you'll find that a lot of the mind chatter that you have really does affect your mental and physical well-being. I want to quote to you the Hadith where the Messenger ﷺ said, Allah says, I am as my servant expects me. If he thinks good of me, he will have it. And if he thinks evil of me, he will have it. Now that's very, very profound. How many of us think well of Allah? When something happens, how many of us think that Allah is wanting good for us? How many of us think that Allah is taking care of us? When we're about to face a trial or a tribulation, it might be financial, it might be a child getting sick, it might be not getting married. What do we tell ourselves? Do we say Allah doesn't care? Do we say I'm not good enough? Do we say, things are going to go really wrong, I'm not going to have enough money, everything's always going wrong for me? Or in that moment, do we change our perspective and think well of Allah? Do we let it go to Allah? Do we go down in sujood and think, no, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loves me and has created me for a purpose, and He is taking care of my affairs, and I will do my best and I will think well of Him, and in return I will get good. We have to change our perspective, because when we change our perspective, our realities change. So I invite you today to think about that, to think about the quality of your thoughts. There's a great thing that you can do that I love doing, and I advise my clients to do this as well, which is journaling. And it can work for both men and women. This is not something girly or woman-like. You write down your thoughts at the end of each day and you look at them and you ask yourself, does this thought have a good implication on my life or a negative implication? And if it does, you say, do I continue to choose to carry this thought around me, or what's a better thought I can have? And you slowly start to change the way that you think. And remember that hadith, I am as my servant thinks I am. Think well of Allah. The more that you think well of Allah, the more good that will come into your life.